Welcome. Let's see what today has in store.
Let's see. Let's open the energy. Quia kinku yu waim nin zun yingen zangaren yo mong gangen de zizak de ya kuma yin yang ganona. Tur kamara gidi doshuma yen ya kung huren gitte te ma. Me yan yanan tutu. Zia krum munya tatana hastaka. Maraki shui kanzase iputun matati huk naramanya naramiyakata. Hai mai uksarti hatam shunchi konsoya manaitektare. Wafroni hana majukutu. Off you go.
And now we can be done. That was all.
So now we have the theme.
Your Chinese friend is very funny. I don't know. For me, he's funny.
I'm reminded. When you say Chinese friend, I'm actually reminded of back in May when I was in LA with the music producer Steven. He channeled like to him a Tibetan monk, or energy from when I was in Tibet in 2004, and related to that time. So it may be something, I have no idea, but it was just like
he's tapping his feet now. It's like, come on.
Well, you talk to him now, then.
Okay.
He wants us to join him because he has been waiting and he's impatient now.
Okay. That's okay. We've been talking a lot before
We have
hitting
been
record.
talking. Yes.
Mayeknanan zunguro miya kanan jutsu ingon angmuni kunan den zangi dan kuruma nyani kun zuru jikana ngan dena tawengi.
So the scripts are being unfolded. It's like it's either Catherine or I think it's you, Catherine, that needs to read what it says.
Yeah, and it's the scroll, or is the scripture. I just need to know what I'm reading. Okay, I'm just going to read what I'm just going to read. What am I reading? I'm receiving a clue. I'm receiving a clue, and I want you to confirm that this is not my brain, but it's actually what I'm reading. You sense if I'm on the right track, because right now I'm actually lost. No, I'm not lost. Okay, a child is born. Birthing a child and birthing a process and birthing a new creation is actually the same thing. It's the conception, it's the gestation, and it's the birth, and it's the nurturing and educating and the following through until that child is ready to walk on its own feet sovereignly in their sovereignty that we have been talking about before we hit record. So today we're talking about sovereignty. And as the flower is unfolding, well, growing, which is the same birth process, the conception, the seed, the planting, the growing, and coming out and flourishing, right? That is where we're going. So the sovereignty, when does that happen in the plant? When is that happening in the child? When is it happening in a project or a creation? When is something or someone sovereign?
And I get he is standing with his stick and he's just get going. I feel like it's discipline. It's discipline. And discipline in the old ways is with the stick.
Mm-hmm.
And I think we needed to get the stick because it's like, focus, girls, focus. Get on the track.
Get on track. We already got the staff in episode 3 for leadership and sovereignty.
And now it is the discipline that needs to be the discipline maybe needs to be redefined.
In earlier times, the discipline was needed for someone to straighten up and do what they're told to. Today, the discipline is not needed. Sovereignty is needed from each person. If they have self-discipline or not, that's another story. That's different. Discipline has a connotation to it that is not very positive. It's like a whip or a smash or a get straight, and that is a redefinition of discipline into sovereignty. Because when you're sovereign, you don't need discipline.
I liked the association that I've been receiving a lot lately through different messages and people. Discipline reframed as devotion.
Yes.
There we go.
That is what I resonate with. That is what I feel inside of me. Like on this path I'm on, it's always been about devotion. Even though I've been hard on myself that I'm not disciplined enough, it can, because it's not that type of discipline.
It's like discipline is being seen from the outside. It's like it
And it's like a must.
it carries judgment. Devotion doesn't.
But
and it's devotion that is tied to sovereignty. That it's
but it has the same drive, because devotion also makes you want to do your practice every day, but that is also disciplined. You know, it's this, it's two things of the same stick, kind of, because for me personally, discipline is positive because it is discipline that will I would do my practice every day, but changing the name to devotion is like, I'm doing it because out of love.
I want to.
I love it.
Yeah.
Also, I am devoted the days that I am tired and don't feel like it. My devotion I'll do it anyway, but I will not sacrifice myself. Because devotion would kind of be also jump over in being the self sacrifice and the martyrism. Okay.
Mayang kina namun yorumi kang zeng ji no nonin kent amu yin nang kung zun zun gun yin ya amu ngon yin ni wong yin ki yang kang gun yung wong kang zun guru. The old paradigm, the discipline has deep, very, very deep roots. And talking about monks and nuns and monasteries and all that, that discipline many times came with punishment too, and it's that we're leaving behind. So
Yeah.
devotion is a very, very good word for it, and also instead to replace discipline with devotion. It's that ripple, it's that ripple effect that by devoting us to our life's work, to our fulfillment, we ripple that energy out and inspire others to devote themselves to what fulfills them and to let that spread.
Devotion has more of a frequency for me of inward and discipline outward, external, internal.
Yeah.
Because discipline is a bit,
Discipline is
yeah, for me it's harsh. It's harsh and it's external. It's you have to do this because that, and then criticism, and then whatever. Whilst devotion is more fired up from within.
yeah.
In a way.
The motivation is love with devotion.
Motivation.
Yeah.
Exactly. And I'm remembering a quote I read once, and I actually believe it's from Abraham Lincoln, that he said that that discipline, self-discipline is long term. When you don't have discipline, it's short term. It's like then you do. It's like the discipline gets you to the the long run, and devotion does the same, but without the punishment and without the whip and without the, because you find that path and you walk that path, and it amplifies, it widens, it you walk it, and
Yes, and it comes from love, and it is
yeah,
the feminine energy of moving forward. And I can feel the word marxism arising again, because that is also an old world concept that if you are truly devoted, you will sacrifice yourself.
yeah,
And that is not healthy. That is not the new way. So it is to find the balance between devotion and, I'm going to say it again, discipline, because devotion without self-discipline would lead you into self-sacrifice, and you will give yourself up. And that is not what we are here for.
and it's as if sovereignty holds all of it, right?
Exactly. Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, because when the sovereignty is built, you will have your boundaries, and then it won't be a self-sacrifice.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Mia, no jinxinziga tienen hurmigo yakanga, musun zinki did your coach mataya kreda. Okay, so I'm holding something in my hand here, and it is a future. It is the future of of that devotion written in present tense, as if it were happening now. So that calling, that devotion that is carried by sovereignty and it's leading to sovereignty too. What does that look like? And how can you live it today? Because it is already happening. Talking about time, everything happens all at once. So the future is already happening. So what elements of that future, and that is innate in your devotion and innate in your sovereignty, what can you do more of, be more of, to support yourself in that evolution?
I'm being personally activated, let's say, with this, as I keep seeing and now it's like a flame opening up in my chest. This connection with my soul's work and mission and calling that trumps or overrides the commodity, the fears, and this is where like devotion is woven in. To be more specific, more showing up, and I'm speaking from my point of view, more showing up because of the devotion I have to my mission soul work, and take that very seriously, because it seems, that's why I said that it's a bit activating for me, because it seems from where I stand that I didn't take it very seriously until now. And that showing up, as Dorothea was saying something earlier, even when you're not feeling very well, or you're not very comfortable, or there's something going on in your life, or whatever it is. For example, if I want to develop a certain project, showing up for that because I'm devoted to this mission, to this message, to this purpose, to this flame that burns in my chest. And that is greater and bigger than my little human, not to go into sacrifice or disregard myself, but is greater than I'm feeling a bit off today, so I'm not in the mood.
Yep.
So that's why it's a bit activating for me, because I know I want to do something that I keep putting off. But now you kind of made the connection, and that was sparked a bit inside of me. That devotion to show up, because my voice, your voice, whoever resonates with it, is important. The truth, the frequency, whatever you have to bring forth. And it's bigger than your little comfort.
And it's so much more important to show up and speak up. Now I'm talking about when we, in our line of work, in the spiritual work, we are awakening voices with this project. We've talked about it in other episodes, the need and also the intention and the energy of light language stories to demystify and normalize light language and spiritual gifts and psychic gifts and all that. As long as we don't talk about it openly, we are not supporting those who are actually awakening now. and we instead we will be supporting the dimming down, supporting the oppression
letting
and all that. But by speaking up, showing up, delivering our messages, without again imposing anything on anyone, but devoting ourselves to that in our sovereignty, we show sovereignty is possible for everybody.
just before this, there was a video coming up for me, random, never saw it, never knew the person before, just a video coming up. And this person was like shouting in the middle of the rain, in the middle of the forest, show up as you are, imperfect, not knowing, not having all the answer, not having the equipment, not having the money, not having the support, just show up. And it was this grit and this, and I was like trembling and like weeping and like
Okay.
and now like this comes up like full form here.
And we're talking about discipline.
And my right side is lit up, like my right hand, my right leg, my right side is lit up. The masculine showing up structure, following through. Woo! Yeah.
He's holding a soft, I'm gonna say a bun. It looks like one of those Asian buns that are soft and soggy, and it's like he wants us to take it. I have no idea what it is.
Okay.
Mm.
It could be a momo.
For me, it's sweet. I taste the honey.
It is kind of a dessert thing.
Yeah, I taste the honey. Mm.
So
They love sweet stuff there.
Yeah.
So devoting ourselves to the higher purpose, and you will get the dessert.
The sweetness of it.
Sweetness of life.
Sweetness of life. Now he's smiling. He's like, finally, you get it. I feel like you stupid women.
You know what? When I was in Tibet with all these, I was there for 3 weeks amongst, with monks. They were, because we were there at the monastery, and I have never experienced anyone that silly and happy and making jokes all the time and teasing each other, and it was hilarious. We had so much fun, and they were little kids, little boys and old men, and it was like they were just laughing all the time. They had a blast. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful, and they came from many places in Tibet. I was doing a documentary about nomads, but in that there was also the coronation of the Rinpoche at that monastery. So there was a lot of people gathering, and their smiles, and also the nomads and they were, that their clothes in rags and no teeth, and they were just laughing a lot of laughter.
And you know what? This is the mirror of light language stories, because they are around us, they are laughing, they are having a good time. And I think that is the point of this. to have the devotion, and then the laughter and the fun will just emerge, because the devotion comes from the heart and from your higher selves, in so to speak. I don't know, but I really see how they are gathering around now, because we have kind of put that message out.
I hear music, their music, like bells, a lot of bells, a lot of mm, their specific things. I don't know how they're called. Um, and like, you know, those Indian weddings when they're all like,
Yeah, that
and
one.
like a
Yeah.
lot of
What's
something like that, like dancing and a lot of bells and a lot of.
celebration?
I didn't see. Very surprising.
Yeah.
Because I cannot help but notice and see the polarity with the uh, all the Western religions, like this polarity with Asia and the monks in Tibet and all their laughter and their joyfulness and their lightness and jokes about life and all of that, and then I see the Western dark clothes in churches and the seriousness that I never understood. And I always contested that and asked a lot of people, like, I don't get why when you go to church we need to be so serious and we need to like, "Ooh, don't do that, don't move." You should like be happy and praise God and be happy you're meeting with God and like laugh and chant and dance, and like it's to be celebrated, that union and that feeling and the prayer and all of that.
Yeah.
Not to be all like you're in a funeral. And even the funeral for me should be a celebration and not a crying thing going on. Like, I know I'm a bit out there, but this is how I see things and how
Yeah.
I feel them.
No, because that is going from discipline to devotion. Devotion. This is the jump from the old to the new, from the old masculine to the new masculine. And I could always sense, the thing, the monk kind of, it was very feminine. And I also heard while you were talking, this is why there are 3 women here, because this is the feminine power. And this is the age of the feminine power to soften the masculine. And having said that, it is also the masculine power being feminine. Because usually we see Mother Earth as feminine, and the sun, I think I've talked about this before, but I got a vision of this, and the sun, the masculine. And because the masculine would hold space for the feminine, but it is the other way around, because the earth is actually holding space for us and the sun is absent, right? So it is the other way around with feminine, because we are the container, we are giving nourishment for the new world to be born, as you said, Catherine, a new life. And that is why we are here, 3 women who also have been healing our masculine side, because we have both in us.
And I witnessed this awakening of the feminine in men too, in the sense of men reconnecting with their hearts, with their emotions, with their let's say soft side, so that they can awaken that principle, healthy principle inside of them too. Whereas the old way was that masculine taught to be of steel and never cry and never follow the heart and never, like, we know. I don't have to like make an entire list. And now what I see, and I like this perspective. There were two perspectives that I liked recently. One, it was a man saying that the woman is the entire chaos, the entire void. The woman is everything. So how could I, a man, contain that? I can just be present in that and with that, so she can feel anchored and safe, and me to be like really anchored in my heart. So that awakening that I was saying. And then someone else said something like, can we give men a break? Because probably now with the feminine awakening, is something is happening where we say that men got very feminine and we don't like that, but maybe this is just an in between, just a blip, so that they can get in touch with their feminine side towards the harmonization, the inward one.
Yes.
Because what I notice is usually we go in extremes to experiment in
Yeah, we're
that.
like a pendulum, right? That goes to one side to experiment here, and
Yeah,
then to the other side to get the
yeah,
experience, and then come
experience.
back into the middle. So it resonates quite a lot what you say. And there's one thing I just wanted to add is that these monks, these monasteries, they're very disciplined, but they're very, very, very
Yeah,
devoted. And also the people who came, just to close that coronation part of my experience out there, what they brought of gifts and from their hearts and and they were given, I remember they were given money from the and gifts from the monastery, those who had traveled far, and they had been, making these, I think they're called prostrations or something, when where do they stand up and then they lie down on the ground flat out, and then then stand up again, and that's like a worm kind of, right,
yeah.
walking all the way. And it's like, so it is, as you say, Dorothea, this devotion and sacrifice, but not self-sacrifice to the extent of wearing yourself out, right? But it's because it's bigger than you, it's bigger than us, like you say, uh, Anka, that that what we devote ourselves to is bigger than our fear, it's bigger than our discomfort, it's bigger than da 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 da. And at the same time, staying sovereign and knowing the limit on when do I sacrifice
Yeah.
my life, even, and my family and all this on the pursuit of this where we're going, right? So there's it's really like, instead of walking on
Hmm.
an edge, we need to widen the road so that we can be all of it.
Yeah, true. It's the balance.
Yeah. I feel like bringing in an item to this conversation. And it's this, which is a prayer, and it was written by one of the monks in Tibet. He wrote it, made it for me, and a couple of years ago, I asked the Rinpoche what it was, what it said. I thought it was a kid's song, because we had been playing and singing kids songs too when he was also writing that. So I sent the image to the Rinpoche. I'm not Buddhist, but I'm still, in contact with these wonderful people, and and I asked him what it was, because, and that was actually, it was actually on the 11/11 or 12/11, which is very soon. Today it's the 7th of November. So a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, 23, I had this pull to go and pull off this text that I can't read and just hold my hand on it. And that's what we do with light language too, right? We have the symbols of the light language, and we can hold our hand on it, on top of it, and receive the energy. And I received the energy of this prayer, which is a very, very powerful prayer. I'm not prepared. I was not prepared to bring this forth, but it is about enlightenment, and it is about those who have enlightened or have opened themselves to this yeah, I'll find it, that they stay there and help others, those who have not yet awakened, to awaken, but again without imposing, but that we don't go back and leave it again once awakened. Is a very powerful, very beautiful prayer. And when I didn't know, and when I held my hands over it, I just saw this energy coming up, and it created a giant torus field, and I felt the joy and the love, and I've got the whole story written down because it was like, whoa, what happened here? So that's why I wanted to ask the Rinpoche, hey, what is this prayer? What is going on in this? So there is so much energy. There's so much wisdom that we all contain and resonate with. And if we don't talk about it, it will stay hidden or become a mystery. And those who get in touch with it may think that something is wrong with them because they don't understand what is going on.
So again, the message to step up, to show up,
Speak up.
Speak up, to share,
to light up,
to be, put the light up. I have a friend that always called me the lighthouse. Like for her, I'm always the lighthouse on the sea. Just that like frequency of no matter how dark it is, you're holding that light. And I am guided towards that light in that way. So in this way of holding our frequency, our light, through all of it that we talk, sovereignty, purpose, devotion, all of that. And this is not new because now I remember that there's a lot of stuff that I listened, people that I listened, maybe podcasting and stuff like that, that kept saying this. We are the ones stepping forward as the pioneers in a way, because we need to like we have this role or whatever contract we signed soul wise, to be the lighthouse, to anchor the light so that everyone else that needs it can find that light and also of course light it up in themselves in a way, like being the word that comes up now very unexpected is the guardians, the forefront. And it is not easy to be the forefront because you have nothing and no one to hide behind. There's no map. And that for me has been a very perpetual deep feeling for a long time. There's no map. I don't know. I'm always walking in the unknown. I'm always stretching myself.
Always in the in-between.
Always somehow in the in-between. Always like taking the risk of a new step, of putting myself out there, even though I'm afraid, even though I'm like, oh my God, even though whatever. Yeah, I feel it's very it for me it's a very deep message and feeling. And somehow I felt before we went on today, I don't know how or why, but this came up. It's going to be deep.
A deep lighthouse.
Deep lighthouse.
Yeah.
And as you said, as you know, being in front and being the guardians. I remember, and we talked just before we hit record, we also talked about Liharis and disease that we all
Yeah.
resonate with. And I remember that they said that we are guardians of the soul. We are guardians of the soul also because of the technology coming through so strongly.
Mm,
Guardians of the
okay.
soul are needed.
And I keep going back to sovereignty,
Yeah.
because you cannot be a lighthouse if you don't have sovereignty,
Nope.
because then you
Yeah.
will burn out. And
Yeah.
I also like, okay, then what is sovereignty? How is it to be sovereign? How
Yeah.
can I be sovereign? How can I enhance my sovereignty? And I think it's such an interesting topic because there's so many layers in that.
Yeah. And perspectives and experiences and personal stuff. Yes.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think I actually do think that that is a topic that needs to be explored at some point of us, because there's so many layers in that, and it is so important being a light worker that you know how to govern your sovereignty, actually.
To be in your sovereignty and what
Yeah,
that
what
means. Yeah. And maybe we can share our different perspectives and we see where there's commonalities on that. Like what for sure is boundaries because we talked
yeah.
about that
I
already.
think we should do that in another episode, because
But another episode we
yeah.
can like
And
explore
with
that.
our guests.
Yeah. Yeah.
With our guests, there will be a lot about sovereignty. Because, no, I'm not, because is the wrong word, but in my experience, tied to light language, is that it has made me much more sovereign to when using light language the way I do, I know the way you do too, it can really, really help to anchor yourself in that devotion, in that unknown, in that sovereignty, and to walk the walk and do what it takes.
Yeah, but you can also get lost in it if you don't
You
know what it is.
exactly. You can escape the world with light language if you don't anchor it.
Exactly, and you can, if you don't know what it is, you can, other people will take you for crazy and insane and send you somewhere
Yep.
not good. And that is important, that we will discover sovereignty, because I think that is also a big topic here, and what I believe that we're trying to do, to set out a mirror to other people so that they would know what it is and would know how to handle it. Because I don't think that sovereignty will just rise like that.
Oh, no.
You have to work on it, and how do we do this? And I think you're absolutely right, Catherine. We need to hear people. How have you been working with this? And how can we teach and learn from each other about sovereignty?
How it translates in the human experience. Because every day, I would dare to say, with all our choices,
Yep.
we choose from sovereignty or
Yeah,
not.
do we choose what we eat from sovereignty, from what my body actually wants and what I want, or do we choose because to eat what is served, even though it's not good. I don't know. Maybe you can
Yeah.
be sovereign and choose to eat what is served because it's a circumstance, but you're conscious about it. So
And there's
there's
nuance.
there's a nuance. Yeah.
Same with relationships, with a lot of things.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, I'm looking forward to those conversations.
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that. So, I can see that my computer is having a low battery now. So maybe that's a little note for us,
cue.
yeah, a cue for us to say thank you for this. At least to wrap it
Let us know if you're
up, is there anything that wants to be here to wrap it up? Like an invitation, my hands are like going, making a vertical line. We've talked a little bit about the spine too, haven't we, in some of our episodes, or is it just me?
Yeah, we've talked
The spine being our antenna and our, it's what keeps us upright, and the muscles that we have around the spine, and the sovereignty there is in our spine. Alignment, exactly, and learning to stay grounded, feet on the ground and head high, and really maintain that connection inwardly and outwards. It's like there is a lot of sovereignty in that spine.
I would like to invite everyone looking, listening, being here with us, maybe for like a very simple practice exercise, to just for a moment close your eyes. It can be just 5 seconds, 10 seconds, and receive the frequency, the word sovereignty. What does sovereignty feel like for me? Where does it land maybe in my body? What does it come up with? It can be anything from an image to a taste to a color to feeling to an entire context. It's just being present with that. What is sovereignty bringing up for me? Even feeling the frequency and the energy of this word. And of course, then take whatever arises into the physical human experience.
And support it, reinforce it, strengthen it, and reflect it, emit it, so that others can meet their own sovereignty.
It is not an easy thing. It came up now. It is not an easy thing to be sovereign in a world where that is not a thing, usually. And it is not, it isn't, because it requires a lot of boundaries, a lot of no's, a lot of, I'm not dealing with this, I don't want this is not good for me, I'm now not talking about this, whatever, which might get people to leave or to get angry, or like different contexts and situations in life. So yeah, reclaiming our sovereignty and cultivating it, it's not necessarily the easy path, but then this entire path, it's not an easy one, but it's a beautiful one, joyful one, fulfilling.
Let sovereignty ripple.
Sovereignty ripple. Yeah.
Thank you for today, ladies. That was a pleasure, as usual. And thank you for watching. And please like and subscribe and just create.
And comment. Let us
Share
know.
share your experiences. Yeah.
Yes. As we conclude, take a moment to return your attention to your body and your surroundings.
What resonates, keep. What does not, release.
Nothing shared here binds you, defines you, or directs you. Your perspective, your interpretation, and your choices remain your own.
Thank you for listening consciously.
And we're looking forward to connecting with you again.
And we are inviting you to join our community on Telegram. Please find the link below.